Marseille. In today's video, we're going to talk about La Grave.
I stayed 3 days and 3 nights in March 2026 and got super lucky with conditions. In this video, we'll talk about the lines of this place, how to get there, and behind the scenes in a powder day. We start our trip from Marseille, spotting some homies at the train station. An hour in, you already see the mountains and the white tops in the background. The train ride from Marseille was about 3 to 4 hours. This video is not about the best powder shots or the GoPro footage. You can see that in many other videos. I'll try to talk about the soul, the history, and really the feeling that you get when you're riding around this place. Driving up with the train late at night, you really get to see the French countryside and the mountains that are getting closer and closer. Finally getting to Briançon train station late at night, so having to take a taxi to get up to La Grave. The taxi picked me up, let me drive through the Col du Lotaret Pass, one of the highest mountain passes in France that stays open during the winter. A very clear night with lots of stars on the way to La Grave. And we made it. This time I'll stay at the skiers lodge. Welcome with a nice duck dinner. This is my room the next morning. And when you get here, this is your view. This view is unlike anything else, anywhere else in the world. It's really special with La Meije watching over everybody. And the next morning, outside on the balcony, on one side the Oison Valley, and on the other side Briançon, where I came from last night. Very lucky this year with the conditions, as the next 2 days we'll see over 60 centimeters of fresh powder fall and making it an amazing time. Staying at the skiers lodge is really special. It really feels like you're in a museum of skiing, with paintings and skis and everybody feeling very welcome and like a great big family. I loved my time there. Here we are at the bottom of the Téléphérique by the ski patrol shack, waiting for it to open. This is a Thursday morning. Of course, there's not a lot of people later in the season. There it is. The tram first runs. This is from 1,400 meters all the way up to 32,000 meters with a change at 2,400 meters. It's unlike in other resorts because it really stops and takes a long time. Getting to the top takes about 30 minutes, I would say, on average. And when I get to the top for the first time, I'm welcomed by a plane that's just flying by. This is the top at 3,200 meters. And this is where most of the itineraries of the routes start. And La Meije. Where is La Grave? La Grave is in the Hautes-Alpes department in France. La Meije is the final large alpine mountain to be submitted in 1877. And about 100 years later, in 1977, the Téléphérique is open. This is the way from Briançon that I took last night. And then, so a bit over 45 minutes. This is how long it takes to get there from Lyon. From Chamonix. From Genève. and from Turin. There is a bus that runs between Grenoble and Briançon. Runs a couple times a day depending on the day, and it's just a couple euros. So this is definitely the way to do it. I had to pay over 100 euros for my taxi the night before, so that was not the best. But I wanted to have an early start of the day on my first day, so I wanted to get up there quickly. There's lots of buses also that run, and on the way back I just hitchhiked back down to Grenoble and got picked up in less than 5 minutes. It's a big hitchhiking culture around these mountains here in France. When it comes down to accommodations, you don't have a ton of options as the village is pretty small, and prices tend to be over 100 euros per night. I stayed at the skiers lodge, where we'll talk more about it, and I highly recommend it. The welcome is just the warmest. The skiers lodge was founded by Per Ås, a Swedish free skier who was hanging out around Chamonix in the 80s and moved over to La Grave, where he started the skiers lodge at 29 years old in 1989. For now almost 30 years, the skiers lodge has welcomed skiers from around the world, and it feels like a very big, special place with a lot of history and a lot of skiing culture right in there. I paid 110 euros per night for accommodation, breakfast, and dinner. Dinner was especially good. I'll come back on that. The train from Marseille was about 30 euros, and the taxi was over 100 euros. When it comes to the budget for ski passes, you're looking at about 50 euros for under 25 years old, 39 euros if only half of the lift is open, and 64 euros as of 2026 if the full lift is open. This is the map, and these are some of the videos that give this place justice and that you should watch to get hyped before you go. The map is especially bad. It's not very detailed because the thing about this place is you need to put in some time, and you need to respect and be humble about this place and learn things as you need to. I highly recommend taking a guide. I did that for actually the 2 days. It snowed a lot, and I didn't really want to bother with taking unnecessary risks. And I really highly recommend taking a guide. For 2 days, it cost about 120 euros per day. And I joined a group, so we're skiing like 3 or 5 people. Thankfully, my group was pretty much the same level as I had, so we had a good time. But of course, there's some classic lines in La Grave, and these are all outlined on the Skiers Lodge website. I highly recommend you check it out. These are all the classic lines that you can ski. Some of them are easier access. You can access straight from the lift. You don't even have to hike anything. But some of them you do need to rappel or tour up, hike up, whatever. But some of them you can just ride them directly from the lift, and they're really, really cool lines. Some of them at the bottom you need to hitchhike back up to the village because you end up lower than the village itself. But you do 1 or 2 of these in one day, and it's a huge day. And this place has seen also a lot of people die, and today I'd definitely like to dedicate this to Ribeyre, a very well-known guide and well-respected guide in the area who died just about 2 weeks ago. Coombs also died, and it's home to many inspiring people. Per Ås here pictured, Swedish guide in La Grave. Coombs died in the Polichinelle couloir in 2006, trying to help a friend. Chad Sayers is another local figure, a Canadian ski bum, ski guide, and ex-pro skier. Jean-Louis Saint-Arceau, snowboarder. Here's Julien Marie, our guide for the next 2 days. Today there's about 100 ski bums kind of living out of a car or living there for the season. Another place you need to check out, it's really part of the culture here, is Snow Legend. It is the shop of an old French mogul skier Didi has. It's like a guide shop and ski rental shop right at the base. But overall, there's about 100 and plus ski bums that make La Grave what it is today. We saw some old dudes from Alaska. Now back to a bit of history. Historically, the Téléphérique was open just for hikers in the late 70s. But then some crazy skiers, historically some Swedes, came in and kind of pioneered the extreme skiing that was found in La Grave. And this is when it really started, when more people started to come and this kind of ski bum culture started to happen. And there's still, of course, some of that here today. There's an event every year that's happening called Derby de la Meije since 1989. And it's crazy Chinese downhill from the top. And the lift really hasn't changed. They changed the actual cars a couple years ago, but the lift itself was pretty much the original. There was also a problem with the cable. Was it like 2 years ago? They had to close it down, or last season. But now the big discussion is putting in an extra tronçon, as they call it, an extra stage from the top that would go over the glacier. And so the Téléphérique is owned by Les Deux Alpes, so it's a bigger group, and that creates a lot of people who are against it, people who are for it, and this it has a big impact, of course, on the feel of the place. Today it's freedom. It's what you see on the map. You have one lift and nothing else. You decide where you go. You decide how you want to go down the mountain, between what is possible, what is your ability, what is the current risk. And this is really beautiful that there's something like that exists in the world still. This is at your own risks and you make your own decisions. Of course, it's a good idea to take a guide to go there, but this is the project that will eventually happen, I believe, someday. But this created a lot of controversy, right? Because every snowfall in La Grave, there's a group. There's one guy of each guiding company. There's the ski patrol that gather and open the resort before everything. Well, they go down the mountain and assess the conditions and then report back to the local mayor, and then the local mayor decides if the Téléphérique will open or not. And in this commission, it's about 6 or 7 people or more. But now all the guys who are against building this third stage of the Téléphérique have been kicked out of the commission. So now it's a lot of internal drama, you could say, based on that. However, it handles on security, so it shouldn't be like that. But it is what it is. Here's La Meije that you see everywhere you look. Very majestic mountain, very, very beautiful mountain that you see everywhere. You can take this cat track to get you to the top of the Téléski at 3,600 meters. This is it at the top of the lift access area in La Grave. My first run down, bit of wind, scalding the snow on the glacier. First run down, going down on the Chancel side. So this is maybe the easiest way down. The least steep. It's arguable between this and Vallon de la Meije, which is easiest. But this one maybe easiest if you go a bit left. And here at the bottom, where you see the banane couloir right in the middle, an iconic line in La Grave. And there's a lake right under there, and also a refuge up on the right, where you can get lunch and stay the night. This is back at P1, so the first place where the Téléphérique stops, and you can get on, so you don't have to go all the way back down to La Grave. So the lift takes you above the Vallon, and you have a very nice view on the way up. This is back on the glacier for another round of Chancel, with snow and wind working together to create some beautiful artwork, live artwork, and La Meije that you can see everywhere you look. The lift stops also 2 times outside of the stations, just like that, to let time for the other cars and other people to get out. So it's a pretty long way up. It's not like other resorts where you get down in maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Once you get up, you're in there for a good moment of time. And it's a great contrast, because when you're skiing, you're out in the middle of nowhere, out in nature, out in the wild. Really feel like you're out in the wild. And when you're back in the gondola, you're squished in with maybe 6 or 5 other people max, and you talk and you share some things, and it's a really cool atmosphere. This is the La Grave village, and back down in March 2026. It was really cool. We could ski all the way down with a good snow year, all the way down to the village. When you do that, you actually cross this little bridge, and then you need to hike maybe 70 meters back up to the bottom of the Téléphérique. La Grave still has some paper ski passes when you buy a day pass. So the commission, the group of guys that make this judgment call on if they want to open or not. I was lucky enough because my guide the next 2 days was actually part of one of the commissions one day, and that's why he explained us a lot of the insights. And also Pascal, a guy you may have seen from these videos earlier, he still heads the commission, and is a really nice guy and good advice that he always gives. This is the banane couloir. Decided to give it a go, warming up on the first day. It's pretty steep, I would say, at the 1/3 of the couloir, and then it gets pretty chill afterwards. But definitely don't want to fall and slide here, as you can hit the wall on the skier's left side, and that can hurt. But this couloir, you just access it from the top at 3,200 meters, and then there's ski down over to Chancel. And again, there's many ways you can find some maps and some guides online, but it is at your own risk, because this is the real mountain, this is real risks, and again, you should definitely have a guide. Back at P1 for another run. This one on the Vallon side. So I'm here on top of the Moraine, a big pile of rocks that was created from the glacier back in the day. Here's the line that was skied, or the couloir that was skied with Johnny Collinson and Joe Valone in Macintosh in one of the videos I shared earlier, and you can see the couloir is very, very thin, not much snow, even though it's a lot of snow for the year, but compared to maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was not a lot of snow. And here you can see the couloir, and you can see the little couloir Saint-Antoine. I was just skiing down the Vallon, noticed some skin tracks up the couloir, so I peeked. I saw skin tracks and then boot pack track. I was like, oh, and then just you see some people. So I just stayed there for maybe 15 minutes, waiting for them to ski down, and they did. And that's kind of the vibe of this place. You're really in the middle of those huge mountains and crazy group of skiers that love skiing, and you're gonna see lines being skied left and right. If you look up, you're gonna see tracks and really extreme places, and that's the beauty of this place. It's a museum. It's like an art piece being made live in front of your eyes. It's gonna change every day because you're not gonna see the same thing. So this line actually is made in 2 times. It's got a first part, and then this was the second part that we saw. It looks really, really cool, and you can see it actually from the village itself. Back at night, reading up on some Candide pictures and checking out the Meije artwork at the lodge. There's so many of them, and they all look really amazing. And this was it for the first day. Pretty chill day. Got warmed up, skied some classic lines, and the next day, powder was coming. So this was the morning, waking up at around 7 in the morning, 7:30, snow coming in, going downstairs for breakfast. You can have bread, eggs, coffee, snow coming back. Here, it wasn't open if they were gonna it wasn't sure if they were gonna open the resort, as it continued to snow a lot, and there was not a lot of visibility. And if that's the case, well, you maybe go to another resort, like Serre Chevalier, for example. This is back at the room, maybe an hour later, and the snow has continued to come. They ended up opening the first tronçon for 39 euros, single price. And that's how we skied. So we skied the first tronçon, which is in the trees from 2,400 meters down to P1 or down to the village. We did, I think, 8 runs. It was really the only day where I counted runs, because one other guy in my group had his watch on. So we're 4 clients for 1 guide, and we just skied the trees. And we did 8 runs. I think it was 20,000 feet of vert, and I think it's 6,000 meters of vertical, which was a really nice day. And just following the guide, getting lost in his secret stashes, secret pockets in the trees. But the snow was a bit sketchy, for sure. A lot of wind, and the snow making those cracks kind of randomly. So super sketchy, and very glad we had a guide, and nothing happened, but the snow was just kind of not the safest. It seemed like some people getting cliffed out, and that was it. No GoPro for me, but back at the lodge, checking some of the artifacts. The K2 bar, the basement, and then entrée, plat, cheese, and then dessert. So this is the 4-course meal that we had the pleasure of having every single night. Super good. And some more K2 bar memorabilia at the bottom. The goat, Shane McConkey poster, and a rugby game to finish off the night. And the next day, well, it was talk about maybe opening the whole thing, maybe not opening at all. It was very windy. The second part of the second stage of the lift hadn't opened. If it didn't open in the morning, it would not open during the night. So that meant that the next day it would either not open at all, maybe, it was still very unclear. but our guide had to do the commission, so he had to meet with them early, and the commission the next day also had an issue. So the next day and the final day actually had a very, very interesting spice to it. And this is the full final day, Sunday, where it actually opened up. It opened up. The whole thing opened up, but it did open at, I think we were on the lift at 11 or 11:30. So we were first waiting at the lodge, getting some information from Pelle, and then he told us to walk down. Julien, our guide, was in the commission. There was an issue with the tram in the morning, so the commission was also late. And then it was a lot of snow, so they took some time, and then we ended up being in the line, and the line was quite big. Reminded me of the US. Huge fucking line, but it was also the weekend. It was pretty sunny. It just had snowed a lot, but at the top it was 60 fresh centimeters. So I think we're maybe not the first ones, of course, but some of the first ones. And this first rundown was just all time. It was so good. So good. You ski with no one. It's just some tracks on the mountain, and yeah, just unreal time. And when you're back at the bottom, it just took so long to get up and to ski back down that there's no line at all. Everybody's already either on the lift or skiing down. And that's the beauty of La Grave, because it's so big that you don't meet so many people, or you get a big line in the morning, but then it's over. You get those big runs to just spread everybody out, and yeah, that was the case for all 3 days. You just had a lot of people in the morning, or like some people in the morning, but as soon as you had your second run, you had no one to wait. Maybe at P1 a little bit, but usually not so much wait. So this is our second run of the day, and this time we're gonna go over to Chancel, so on the other side here, on the rider's left side, and they're doing some work on the glacier to open it. As you can see, this cow just droning in snow and some wind, and here we are in the Chancel side. Absolutely amazing. A lot of rocks were sticking out barely under the snow. A lot of sharks, so some people got caught by the sharks, but luckily not me. And it was quite a good day. It was a lot of people, and we saw some rescues. Actually, this was the first rescue that we saw at the Vallon side, from the gendarmerie, the PGHM, getting you, because this is not the patrol job. It would be the patrol job if the helicopter would not be able to land, but you're here in a natural side, and the other one was in the Chancel side, and I think it was maybe 20 minutes of a difference between the two. Like, those guys are so quick to rescue. The ski you saw previously was Manu Guedet, another French pro skier from back in the day, at the restaurant at the top. And this is us right before taking our last run of the day. So we only did 3 runs that day, and just being so grateful for an amazing time that we had. Great first day exploring the classics, great other day skiing in the POW and the trees, and final day all time with this beautiful show. This guy or girl just taking it all in for the final piece of the day. And there's 3 runs in one day, but they were good. They were good runs. They were good runs, and you just feel so satisfied and so happy to be there, and so happy to be within this community and skiing those lines, the snow, and being in this environment. It's really, really special. Again, no GoPro for me, so this was a sole ride, and back down to the village and back down to the real world for now.